I'm at it again. More gnomes. But what are they attached to? I don't know. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for September the 11th, 2023. And it is vlog number 329. And I guess we know what the significance is of today. A very bad time, a very bad memory, and of course, all of our hearts go out to those people who lost loved ones and friends and everything else that happened on September the 11th, 2001 in New York City. And of course, I don't think I need to say any more about it. It was a world-changing event. As we all know, I don't think there's anybody in the world that hasn't in some way been touched by that tragedy. And right now, we're thinking about the Americans and Canadians and others who lost their lives in the towers when they went down on September the 11th. Okay, bit of a somber note to start today's video, but let's move right along into what I have been doing. Well, I mentioned this yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live. This is called Cats and Bats pattern. It is, of course, a Halloween quilt. I wasn't going to make another Halloween piece this year. I have a lot of Halloween pieces because I really like Halloween fabric. I mean, because it's fun. And I don't usually do novelty fabrics for things. But at Halloween especially, they really attract me. And I saw this panel. It's a panel in the center, and I really fell in love with it and decided that I wanted to do the pattern that went along with it. Well, I had some problems with this pattern. Excuse me. Sorry about that, clearing my throat. And I'm not going to really point those out today, but I am going to do a real dissection of this quilt and of the pattern tomorrow on Idiot Quilter. I did mention yesterday on Stephen Walter Live there are some things here and ask people to take a look and see if they can find them. There's two actual mistakes in this, and I want to say that one of the mistakes is my mistake. Another of these mistakes is really a mistake in the pattern. And I noticed in my comments this morning from Stephen and Walter Live, somebody out there also has bought this pattern and are interested in what I found. This was not a perfect pattern. And I don't mean that from the standpoint of view of me, the creator, not being perfect, although I'm not. I'd like to think I am, but I am not. But there is actually a minor but significant error in the pattern that I'm going to talk about tomorrow. So if you're interested in that, tune in then. I've also been working on a Christmas present. This will be a Christmas present for someone. This is an In the Hoop project. I've shown you bits and pieces of before. We're getting closer to having all the pieces finished. These are the main blocks in the table runner. I think it's really cute. And I used Tula Pink fabrics for the most part in this because I had a fat bundle that I'd forgotten all about of Tula Pink. I am not a fan of Tula Pink, and you know why. I've discussed that on the Idiot Quilter before. I'm sorry, I don't know what's in my throat. I may have to stop the video for a second and clear things out, but let's carry on here with this segment. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Tula Pink because I don't know what to do with it, but because of the whimsical nature of this particular table runner and the whimsical nature of Tula Pink, I thought it was a match made in heaven, and I'm really loving how it's turning out. And I know the person that I'm going to give this to, who is a gnome fanatic like me, is going to absolutely love it. So I've got just a few more pieces that I need to, like sashing pieces and that I need to sew out on the embroidery machine, and then I can put the whole thing together. So hopefully maybe next week I will be able to show you the finished product. And also, speaking of different things I've been making, I have now 3 quilts sitting on Lucy that need to be basted and quilted. Things are piling up out there with Lucy. And the problem being is I need a big chunk of time to do it. And I've just been so busy doing other little projects, you know how you get. like a squirrel kind of a thing. You know, you see another project, go, oh, I got to do that. And I have another gnome project I want to do as well that I think would make a really neat, oh no, sorry, it's not a gnome, it's a table runner project, which I think will be really neat as a Christmas thing too. But gift, that's the thing I'm talking about, gift. Get the brain going. A little coffee will help. Or not. Okay, so yeah, those are some of the things I've been up to this week. So that takes me to a video I found called 5 Clever Ways to Use Your Old Filament Spools. If you don't know what a filament spool is, then you're probably not a 3D printer. And I don't mean the machine, I mean you as a printer, kind of a thing. The spools, the filament is thin, looks like wire, but it's made of plastic. Comes on big spools. And when these spools run out, what do you do with them? Because if you're like me in the 3D printing world, you amass quite a quantity of these things. Now, some of them are recyclable, some of them are not. So, you know, you kind of feel a little guilty about throwing them in the garbage for landfill. So I would like to use them for things. Well, I have made some things from them in the past, but I haven't lately. But I found this particular YouTube video saying, or with some ideas about how you can use up your spent spools. So I'll put it in here right now for you to take a look at. This week's YouTube channel of the week is for those of you that do a lot of 3D printing, and you know that our filament comes on filament spools. And when you have used up your filament, what do you do with those spools? I mean, I hate to throw them out. Some of them are recyclable, some are not. So I'm always interested in looking for other uses for these things as they pile up. And I found this particular video from the 3D Printing Zone that's called 5 Clever Ways to Use Your Old Filament Spools. And this individual here actually has some interesting ways to use them, primarily for storing things. Have made a few of these types of items before, not the one specifically that he is showing in this video, because some of these are very elaborate. But for any of you that are really handy with workshop tools, you might find some really interesting things here to create using your 3D printer, and at the same time to use up all those spent filament spools. So you might want to check out 5 Clever Ways to Use Your Old Filament Spools. So maybe when I run out of ideas of things I want to print on the 3D printers, I'll give some of those projects maybe a try. We'll see. Okay, that takes me to my resource list, where you're going to find the link to that video in there. You're going to find a link to a bunch of YouTube channels that are of friends of mine, and if you haven't checked them out, please do. Support their channels. We all need support. That's why we do this. If we don't have anybody supporting us, why bother? Move on, give me more time to quilt. There is a link to last week's videos that I put up as well. Now, you're going to find one new change. And if you've been watching me over the last week, especially on Stephen and Walter Live and on So Chatty, I talked about this issue. I had an issue with my email. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. But needless to say, I have been publicly advertising my email address in the show notes of all of my videos. I'm not doing that anymore. I will talk about that later. So you can still find my email list, but it'll be in the email list. You can still find my email address in the About section. So if you look across the top of the videos, you'll see a little tab that says About. Just click on that, and you will find my email address there. You may have to prove that you are not a bot, and that's just a check mark, and you'll know it when you see it. Yeah, you probably had to do these kind of things on other websites before. It's just another level of security that protects us content creators, and it's really a sad thing that we keep coming under attack by these scammers out there. The world's a horrible place. Everybody's scamming everybody. I mean, really? Why? But anyways, we move on, shall we? Okay, page 2. Looking out my window. Okay, well, we're into September, almost the middle of September. Can you believe it? It's just been going by like snappity-doo, right? Here's what's looking like outside. Now, this was taken at about 7:20 this morning. Sun's just not quite up over the other side of the street there yet. Looks like it's going to be sort of a nice day. Temperature-wise, I think our high is only going to be 23. Right now is 13 degrees Celsius. That's brisk. Not cold, brisk, refreshing. Let's put it that way. It's refreshing. And it's what you would expect from September. Last week we had a few really hot days, and then it went to seasonal. And so that's all fine and dandy. Everything is still at the point where it's looking, a little tired, but still green. And that's good. And yeah, 1 month from now, scary, we'll be in almost the middle of October. And things will change from there quite well. At that point, those trees sitting out there on my front, in the front of my house, are probably not going to be green anymore. Probably be changing their color, if not completely changed. And then we hit November and everything just goes bleh. I hate November. I really do. November is just such a gray month. And of course it gets us warmed up for Christmas, and then yay! And well, okay, I'm digressing here. So let's get off that. All right. So let's talk about what's pissing me off this week. Well, when I use the word Bell or words Bell Canada, usually that's enough to piss me off right there. Because Bell Canada is one of our major telecommunication companies in Canada. We only have about two, Bell Canada and Rogers. They both suck. And that's who I have had for years that provide my internet and my television connections, and at one point my landlines. They also do. My cellular phone is also by them as well. So, they have me by the little curlies because there's no other choices. And if I have to choose between Bell and Rogers, well, I'm going with Bell. It's only slightly better. The devil kind of a thing. So anyways, I'm not really pissed off this week. But I have a tale of woe to tell you. Part of it is my fault. Maybe all of it's my fault. I don't know. But I was having some trouble last week with my email. I didn't think I was getting any. Maybe I was paranoid. I don't know. I get a fairly good volume of emails on any given day. I have a lot of businesses that contact me, keeping me up to date because, I'm on mailing lists for quilt stores. So, they got a sale on a special, something like that. I get an email from them. Again, frog. So, when I turn on my computer in the morning, go into my email, I have a lot of promotional emails, and that's fine. I have chosen to receive those because I like to stay in the loop. But I also get a lot of emails from people like you, okay, out there, send me a comment or ask me a question or something like that. And I get notifications when someone has written a comment on my YouTube videos as well. On top of all that, I belong to a couple of online groups as well, and there's constant chatter on those groups, and those come through to me as an email as well. So I get a lot of emails throughout the day. Well, I was getting far less than the usual volume. And in fact, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I'm not getting any email from people. I'm getting business emails, but I'm not getting people emails. Why is that? Is it just a coincidence that people aren't sending anything and it seems like that? Or is there a problem? So I did some experiments on my own, which it seemed like everything was working fine. But I finally called up Bell. And this was just the second call that I made to them. Actually, it wasn't a call, it was a chat. I prefer the chat mode because, one, I don't have to worry about an accent that I do not understand. And two, you usually get somebody very quickly. You don't get that, well, we'll call you back within the next 2 hours window kind of thing. And that may happen, that may not happen. So before all of this I'm talking about right now, I had something else similar to this happen, and I did get it fixed up. But we went through a few flaming hoops to do that. So I was expecting, okay, I'm going to have to go through the flaming hoops again. Let's set aside a block of time for this, like my life, and see what happens. I got somebody on the chat immediately. Now, I got wise. I know the questions they're going to ask me before they ask me. So I made up a document in Word where I wrote everything out and I categorized it. Yes, I'm a little OCD. Because I knew they were going to ask me, there's some basic information like, your identity stuff. I knew they're going to ask me that. And instead of having to type it in the little box, and my typing skills really suck these days, they tend to, I get typing away and then look and it's blah, 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 because it looks like garbage. Because my hands shifted. I'm a touch typist. I learned how to touch type in high school. Many of us did. So I pre-wrote them all out and I can just cut and paste them in. I'm thinking, aren't I clever? Also would save time. So anyways, I got the person. They asked me the standard questions. I did my cut and paste. That worked but well. Not a problem there at all. Finally got down to the problem. I had that all written out and what had been done beforehand, what I had done, because I knew they were also going to ask me these basic questions. Have you reset the modem? Have you tried sending an email to yourself? Have you tried sending an email to a friend and asking them to reply? Have you tried jumping through a flaming hoop? Have you got your computer plugged in? So to save time, I figured I'd write it all out, what I'd done, and we'll go from there. So I actually also requested, after I put it up there, I said, look, if you can't help me right now, I understand. I'd like to go to a level 2 technician, is what they call them on Bell. And the person actually was very good and said, I will do that for you. I will call you right now. And this person did. She did. And she had me on the line and she says, okay, stay on the line. I'm going to connect you with somebody that I think can help you with the problem. And she did. And this person that came on was very understandable. There was a slight accent, but nothing major. The connection, the telephone connection, that's the other problem I have. Bell. It's a telecommunications company, and their connection on their line is horrible. Yeah, but I know why. Because it's calling India. This person was not calling from India. I think this person was calling from Canada. The line was too clear. And there wasn't a whole lot of, you're hearing a lot of other strange noises in the background, like a room full of people screaming about cleaning your ducks, So I was on the phone with this person for 40 minutes. She was very nice, very helpful, very good, and very patient with me. I gave her a glowing review. I did when it came up and asked for that because, I really appreciated that. That kind of... I was expecting the worst, and I really got the best. Bottom line was, it was me. Nobody was sending me messages. It was a coincidence, I guess. That's why a lot of you got an email out there if you're on my mailing list telling you I'm having a problem with my email. Can you send me just a quickie message so I know it's working? And many of you did, and I thank you very much for that. Because that means that the whole problem was in my head. Which is scary. You don't want to be inside my head. I don't want to be inside my head. It's weird. So I guess I was just a little paranoid for some reason. I guess I was paranoid because my email is very important to me. It is my chief means of staying in contact with you and with everybody else, my mailing list and everything. And of course, I'm going to start generating information for my upcoming retreat on October the 21st. So I need to have everything functioning at its best. So anyways, yeah, I am not pissed off this week. I'm pissed off if I'm pissed off with anybody. I'm pissed off with myself. I need to learn a little more patience because, if I'd waited a day or so, I think I would have realized, oh, wait, there isn't anything wrong with my technology here. It's just a coincidence. I'm just not getting as many emails. It happens. Weird thing. Anyways, that's all over with, although I'm still a little paranoid. Every morning when I get up, I look to see how many emails are in my inbox. If I don't see any, I'm worried because I get emails in the night as well. So anyways, that's the story about that. That is why you got an email, although I explained it on. And again, thank you for helping me out. Okay. Oh, one other thing I want to say about that though. With the customer service I got this time, in comparison to the last time I had a major problem with Bell, things definitely seem to have improved. So maybe they're finally getting the hint, that customer service is important. And, if you want to keep your clientele, if you want a good reputation as a good company, you want to have excellent customer service. And so I'm hoping that what I just went through and explained to you is a sign that things are improving. So I'm not pissed off about that. Okay, so let's go down to new products. Well, I haven't got anything to show you because it hasn't arrived yet, but I did order a new product. I ordered a banner with my logo that I intend to put right up here behind me, right behind my head, where those table runners, well, actually they were wall hangings I made for my mother when she was in the nursing home, kind of thing. I'm going to put them right up there. Now, why am I doing that? Well, everybody does it. If you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you will see in the background in many of them, they have their logo or what they're called and that kind of thing sitting there in one form or another. I've never done that. So I went to Vistaprint, which is a company I am not affiliated with, but I've ordered business cards from them and mugs and things like that and pens. And they're a really good company. I quite like their products. Price-wise, they're not too bad. And the shipping is pretty good. Pretty fast. So I'm expecting these probably tail end of this week, maybe the beginning of next week. I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of hoping I have them in time for this next week up there. But anyways, I ordered 2 of them. They're on fabric. They're 1.7 feet wide and 3 feet long, I believe. So they'll just fit in that spot up there. And I'm thinking when I go to a retreat, not that I go to very many or something like that, I ordered 2 of them. I can take one with me and kind of hang it off my work table. Advertising, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, hit the big time now, haven't I? Not. So yeah, that's about the only thing right now that I've got on order. I haven't received anything else to show you. Okay, so let's go then to the grow lights. And I have some things I want to point out to you besides just the vegetation. Okay, so this is grow light number 1. You can see the lettuce is doing well. It's all coming on at once, as it does. We got to eat more of it because it's going to get to the point where it's going to bolt, which means that it's going to put out little flowers, and then yeah, you don't want to eat the lettuce after that. You can, but it's kind of tough and it's kind of sour tasting. So we got to get that harvested. Same with this over here. This is grow light number 2, but I want to show you something. This will probably gross you out. This is not snow, this white stuff. This is soil mold. Okay. Apparently, if things are a little bit too wet, this will happen. Yes, there are methods for getting rid of it. We just haven't gotten rid of it yet. We really need to. But it's kind of pretty. If it was Christmas time, fake snow. But anyways, yeah, we got to dump that soil, start over, and there's nothing planted in that. Harvest this lettuce that's over here, and away we go. Now, a couple of people have sent me information as to how you can get rid of it. They talk about a mixture of like cinnamon and something else and vinegar or something like that, and give it a little light misting, and that'll kill it. I think the best thing to do is just dump the soil, start over. Yeah, with this. So that will happen. Grow light number 3 is the special light, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more because when Philippa was here, And Philippa, if you don't know who she is, she's a wonderful person from Australia who comes to some of my pop-up sew days. And she was over here visiting. She has relatives, and she was dropping her daughter off at Art College in Toronto. And we made arrangements to get together. And more about that a little bit later on in today's video. But I was showing her the grow lights, and she says, she says, I didn't understand what this really looked like, she says, from your pictures. You know, I show these type that show right now. These are green peppers, and they're doing really well. And this one, well, this is a yellow pepper, but look at the size of that sucker. And you can't see them, but there are some other peppers back in behind as well. But what Philippa was talking about is this. This is what this setup looks like. And I don't think I've ever shown you a picture of the whole thing. So you see, this is in the corner of our workshop, actually the Lucy room, Walter's workbench, and he has this whole corner set up, and he's got this foil on the walls to reflect light more. And up in the very top, well, you can see these cords, right? There's pulleys up here, and these grow lights are different from the other grow lights because they are adjustable in height with these pulleys and ropes. And so as taller plants get, Walter can just hike these up and to accommodate the height of the plant. So right now they're down relatively low, but that's what this corner looks like. So this is where we plant things that will grow a little bit taller, like the tomato plants roll in here. We're debating whether we're going to grow indoors tomato plants this year again. They didn't produce that much, but it might have been the variety. It might have been the way we did it. We might experiment with a few more and see what will happen with that. It would be nice to have some over the winter months because we can grow green peppers, we can grow onions, we can grow lettuce, we can grow herbs. So basically, if we can grow tomatoes, we don't really have to go out and buy anything extra for making salads throughout the winter if we can produce our own. So yeah, that's kind of our goal for this year. We might try a couple of other things just as experiments to see how they will grow. We haven't decided what those are going to be yet. But anyways, Philippa suggested that, I should show you what this setup looks like because I've never done it before. So there you go. Okay. So that takes me to the 3D corner. And I have been doing some things. I said last week I wasn't sure what to make next, and a few of you gave me some suggestions. But one of the suggestions was for a ruler rack, a small one. And yeah, in fact, I already have a couple of these that I use. They sit right on my cutting table, and they hold the most frequently used rulers, smaller rulers, like, a 12-inch 1.5 inch by 12 inch ruler or 1.5 inch by 6 inch, that kind of thing. So I thought, yeah, sure, I could make some more of these. This is going to be a gift for someone special. But I made one of these, and of course I added gnomes. There's a gnome on each side of this. There's also another style of rack. This one, it's a little bit more basic. I mean, these racks have this part in the back where you can drop in your rotary cutter or a pair of scissors or whatever, or pens and pencils, things like that. This one is strictly for rulers, and they're for the smaller rulers or ones that'll fit up. Like, I think this is about 7 inches long. So, yeah. So I've made these for a couple of people that I'll give them to them. And the other thing I'm making, when I was making those little gnomes that were on the side here, I call them a half gnome because I sliced them so they're a half gnome. I decided, hey, I put a couple of these together with a little block that holds them. There's another one of these guys on the other side. I should have taken a picture of the other side of this, and I didn't. They'll hold your Post-it notes as well. So, yeah. And you can see here I have some of my custom-made Post-it notes that I ordered from Vistaprint. So I'm going to make a bunch of these that are going to go into those gift bags that I'm making for the retreat I'm going to in Georgia in December. And I'm going to throw in these and along with a package of my customized Idiot Quilter Post-it notes. Yeah. So that's kind of fun. Always looking for interesting things I can make. And if there's a gnome on it, that's just a bonus. All right, that takes me to Blasts from the Past trips. We're still on the 2016 trip in Australia. And this is a museum this time, another museum, the Museum of Contemporary Art. Okay, so today we're in the Contemporary Art gallery. And there's this little number when we first came in. And it's all these index cards that are all flipping different colors automatically. Kind of interesting. A few other interesting things in here. This is kind of interesting. What do I do? What do I say? What do I do? Okay, so we've decided that we're actually going to go through this exhibit that's up here, this Tatsuyu Maya Jami, not sure how to say it. Because really, what we did see in the art gallery, there wasn't that much in there, so we're going to go back in and pay for the ticket to see this kind of space. So we're in the exhibition right now. It's all digital and light. And this piece is called Floating Time. And it's all done with projectors.
Okay, this is some contemporary art. Drowning yourself in a dish of water. Okay. That's not that another water. Oh. As he dies. Okay. The view from the top of the Contemporary Art Gallery. Look, another picture of the Harbor Bridge. How many of those have I taken on this trip? Almost as many as I've taken at the Sydney Opera House. So we missed this floor. This is the second floor. This is their permanent collection. Yeah.
So that takes me to events in the past week. Well, we had a pop-up sew day on Saturday. I think we had about 30 people. That was great. We had a good time. That's where I got a lot done on that cats and bats Halloween quilt. And from what I heard people saying, they got a lot done that day too. So when's the next pop-up sew day? I don't know. I never know. I'm hoping I can have one before the month is done, but we'll see about that. So, as I mentioned earlier, we had a visit with Philippa. Philippa is one of my subscribers, and she's been to some of the Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen days as well. And anyways, she's from Australia. You know I love Australian. I love all things Australian, including the people of Australia. And, well, Philippa was staying in Toronto with relatives, and she took the GO train, the commuter train, and we met her at the Oshawa station, and we immediately whisked her off to my local quilt store, and then she came up to see our house for a while, and we did a little bit of shopping my stash, and then we took her off for lunch as well. We had a wonderful visit with Philippa. Lovely lady, and it was so nice to meet her. A great day. So I did do a little short video of her. I wanted to do more video of where we went and everything like that, and I kept forgetting because you get involved in the conversation the whole bit. I needed to have a cameraman that trails me everywhere I go. Yeah, I need staff. So if anybody's willing to be my staff and work for nothing, because that's the pay, grade, then let me know. Yeah, no. Okay, so anyways, I have a little video, a little bit that I took. So here's Philippa. Nope, I lied. You're not going to see that clip of Philippa unless you watch The Idiot Quilter tomorrow. It's better placed there. I'm sorry. I'm such a tease. And the only other thing that was exciting about last week was, well, we made some Sakanaki. Now, you may not know what Sakanaki is, or you maybe do. If you like Greek food, you probably know what Sakanaki is. It's basically a cheese that is fried in olive oil, and then ouzo, which is a liqueur, a Greek liqueur, poured over the top of it and set on fire. What could go wrong? Especially with me. Well, I didn't make it. Walter made it. And we did have a little trouble. Well, by the time I thought about taking a video, again, I should have shown you how it's made. It's really hard to make. The trick is getting the right cheese. There is a cheese called califateri, which is a Greek cheese. It's kind of a hard-aged cheese, and it holds together when you try to fry it. That's the trick. You can't use cheddar for this or mozzarella. It's not going to work. You'll have a gooey mess. But it's not easy to get that cheese. But you can use another cheese called halloumi, or halloumi, whichever way you want to say it. And that is a cheese that's very popular in Australia, we found. They had halloumi burgers and things like that, like burgers but made with halloumi cheese. Anyways, you can use that. So we did get some halloumi, and Walter fried it in olive oil. And I don't know if he added any lemon juice. Usually they drizzle, after you light it on fire, they squeeze a bit of lemon juice over the top of it. We didn't do that. But either way, it's delicious. You serve it on you can eat it just as it is, once the flames have gone out, of course. Or you can have it on a cracker or whatever, or piece of crusty bread. It's really nice on a piece of crusty bread. So anyways, I did a very quick little video showing us trying to flame the cheese. Okay, it's the third try to light the Sakanaki, so I can get it on video. But yet, Friday night Sakanaki
which is basically halloumi with, oh, he's putting more ouzo on it, and then you flame it. It's been fried in oil.
Oopa.
Oopa. Oopa. Which means, oh my God, it's on fire in Greek.
So as I said, it was delicious and we didn't burn down the house. Win-win. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, first of all, to let you know, there will not be a Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen this week. Usually those are on Wednesdays. We are not because neither Stephanie nor I are going to be available. Stephanie is off to her retreat, her next retreat, and Walter and I are off to a place in Ontario called Stratford, about 2 hours to the west of us. Stratford is famous for its Shakespearean festival and more. It is a town of theaters, like stage play theaters. And we've had tickets for quite a while now. I got them back in the spring for Rent. I love Rent. I have seen the movie many times. I think I saw it once on stage as well, and absolutely love it. One of my favorites. And so we are going to see that. But in order to see that, we've decided to make it a little mini vacation. So we've got 2 nights in a hotel. So we're leaving Wednesday morning. And the first thing we're going to do is make a beeline to Stratford. We're actually not staying in Stratford. We're staying in another place that's about 25 minutes outside of Stratford called Cambridge. Mainly because you can't get accommodation in Stratford. They don't have a lot of hotels to pick from. They do a lot of bed and breakfast kind of thing. And because they have, this is the height of their theater season, everything is booked months and months and months, if not years, in advance for it. So we're staying in another place 25 minutes, 30 minutes away, Cambridge. But we're going to go right through to Stratford because there is a wonderful quilt store in there. I have reviewed it before, and I'll be doing it again. They have just about everything you've ever wanted. So I will be going in there and spending some money. And there's a few other little places I want to stop on too. So Wednesday's going to be primarily shopping day before we check into our hotel. And then we'll check into the hotel, then go have dinner or something like that. And then the next day, we'll get up and, make our way off to Stratford again. We have tickets for a matinee performance of Rent. So that's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we'll get over to Stratford, maybe, wander the shops of downtown Stratford, that kind of thing, before the play starts, and see the play, and then get back to the hotel, and then we'll be coming back on Friday morning. So that means we will not be here to do a Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, and neither will Stephanie. So you have a week off, people that are regulars, and we'll see you the following week. And yeah, so that's what we've got planned next week. I have a few things to get ready and do before Wednesday comes. And one of them includes getting this posted. So that's it for me today. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.